Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel again. You are watching the podcast and I'm back with another review of Loki. This time it's the episode 3 of Loki. So, yeah, let's talk about this episode. It was quite interesting and a few things happened here. Not a lot that happened, but let's recap the story. I usually don't talk about the story because the story might have some spoilers, but I don't think this one has a lot of spoilers. It's more like just a adventure kind of a story that just kind of takes the plot forward. That's all it does, and it does feel like this is one of those good looking filler episodes, because I feel like these episodes in the long run will be a filler. I think the last episode was a lot more interesting and a lot more important than this one, but yeah, let's just understand what happened here. So in the last episode we saw that Loki ran into that time door and disappeared, right? So he landed back on the TVA headquarters, or the TVA whatever, that place. And Lady Loki, aka Sylvia, or as I like to call her, Emerald Witch. I think Emerald Witch is a great name, right? Like, just think about it. Isn't it a great name? I just came up with it like a minute ago, and I am really happy about it. I think they should just name the character Emerald Witch. So this character, basically she wants to kill the timekeepers and just take over the TVA. Basically, I think what Loki wants to do secretly. Loki is not very aggressive with his approach. He's more subtle, more manipulative, and Sylvia is like more aggression, more military kind of thing that's going on. So the episode starts off with the episode starts off in Hunter's mind, basically. Okay, so obviously Sylvia is controlling Hunter's mind. She's saying things and she gets a bit of information, and then she arrives later at the TVA, and then she just fights through all the guards and kills them, obliterates them, with that wand, stick, whatever it is. And then Loki also shows up at the TVA headquarters, and they both kind of go at it together. But this the judge girl comes up. I like to call her judge girl because I forgot her name. And as she comes up, the Loki and Sylvia both disappears. Actually, Sylvia sees that her tempad has ran out of juice. It has ran out of battery, but the Loki's tempad is still working, so they both disappear. Loki didn't want to disappear with her, but he does. And they arrive at this place called Lamentis in 2027, not 27, 2077. Okay, like cyberpunk, right? Okay, so they arrive at in a moon called Lamentis 1. In 2077, and this is an apocalyptic event which is a recurring theme in this series. Like, basically Sylvia is tapping all the apocalyptic events, right, so that the timekeepers can't really find her among all that apocalyptic shit that's happening. So it makes sense that Loki kind of traveled there as well. I think it's kind of connected or whatever. So Lamentis is basically a moon, and a nearby planet is approaching the moon, and it's about to just destroy the moon and just annihilate the planet. Everybody who will be in this planet will die. But there is an evacuation thing going on there. There's a process going on, and Loki and Sylvia, just once they land on the moon, they kind of go at it. They try to fight it, but whatever, and then they kind of get together, kind of find a truce, because they have to get from A to B, right? They are at this apocalyptic event and they have to get out of the planet, but the tempad has ran out of battery, and Loki refuses to give the tempad. And basically they need a huge power source to really power up the whatever spaceship or whatever they have there, and they have to go from A to B. Okay, that's the objective. So, and in the midst of it, there's debris falling in, basically like asteroids and meteors falling into the planet, because this nearby planet is approaching, right? So situation is going to get even worse, and the planet looks like an apocalyptic planet as well. It's all purple, it's all deserted, there's mining towns and whatever. and Loki kind of gets himself on a train that goes to this other place called the Earth, which is a evacuation ship basically. And not everybody can get on the ship, only the higher class is getting on the ship, but they have enchantment and all that shit going on, so they get on the ship, they talk a little bit, they bond, the character development, and we get to know a few stuff, and then they get found out, and then they get thrown off the ship, and all that happens, and then they walk to this town that actually looks like a cyberpunk town, all neon and whatever, that the set that they have built, they have built a pretty good set this time, Last time I was quite disappointed that the Pompeii set was not really grand. It looked kind of lame, and the CGI wasn't that great either. But this set is pretty big for a TV show at least. If this was a movie, it would be a bigger set. And yeah, the CGI was pretty good too. But yeah, what happens in the story is that as they reach the place, everybody is in a frenzy, and yeah, but in the last scene they see that the spaceship just breaks down in front of them, because all these debris that's coming down on them just destroys this spaceship, and this Loki is like looking at it like this, and yeah, that's it. That's the end of it. It is a very cliffhanger ending again. I think it was an unexpected ending. The other episodes were quite long, but this is only 36 minutes long. So actually the ending is very unexpected. I was not expecting to have such a big cliffhanger. I thought this episode will end with them getting off the planet somehow, because A to B, remember, they landed on the planet, they have to get through this place so that they can leave the planet. That's the story here. So now that the story has been recapped, how did I feel about it? Okay, I think this episode especially reminds me a lot of the Mandalorian or the Star Wars, really. Like the deserted mining towns, these foreigners coming in. Technically they are foreigners, right? They come from different time, different planets, whatever. It's really muddled up right there. Okay, so they come in and they are stranded, and they have to get through a process to reach their B, and that becomes their mission. Okay, this is what I did not really enjoy. I mean, I was enjoying the bond of Loki with Morbius a lot more than Loki with Sylvia. Firstly, Sylvia is that feisty brat girl. Okay, she can fight, she has enchantment, but whatever. Obviously, she can't overpower Loki, and obviously, this episode gives them, conveniently gives them a lot of time to bring them together. I mean, it's a very weak. I mean, at this point in 2021, I think it's a very weak plot point. Of how to bring two people together where they are just stranded and they have to work together towards something. I think this has been done over and over again, and yeah, I mean, it's not very original. And the story that takes place on this planet is not very original either. Like I said, the whole show of Mandalorian is based on that. Like, the Mandalorian has an objective, and he has to reach this objective. But to reach this objective, he has to take part in like many missions and succeed in them to reach the next level and the next level, and so on. So this episode is kind of like that. They have an objective, but a lot of struggles, a lot of things is in their way in order to get to that objective. But they will, I guess. They didn't yet. The ending was kind of a twist, but they will, obviously they will. They are not going to fucking die here. Besides that, I think this show is banking on a lot of cliches. There's a lot of things, like I already said in the past reviews, there's a lot of things that are just not very original. Like I've seen so many times. It's only interesting because of the character of Loki, because of what Tom Hiddleston brings to that character, especially. Like Loki is already famous, right? We want to watch Loki. But the stories itself, it's not very original. I thought the first one was very original. It was mind-boggling, and it was interesting to see Loki again, for starters. The second one, I think, was the best, but the story wasn't original, but it was done very well. It was suspenseful. It was everything that you could ask for. The third one, again, it's a bit more cliche. I just did not enjoy it as much as I would have liked to. I think the show has set quite a high bar. that's why I did not feel this is the strongest episode. I think this is the weakest episode among the three of the other episodes, among the other two episodes. Okay, so also in this episode we don't learn much. Like, they bond, they talk, they fight, but we are not really learning much. We learned some things. The key things that we learned is Sylvia is bisexual, guys. Yes, it's 2021, so she has to be bisexual. Like, she has no choice. If this was 2010, she would not be bisexual, I can guarantee that. Okay, so that's one thing. Next thing is we find out through that, like, she explains how she does this enchantment thing and everything, and we find out through her words that everybody on the TVA world is also a variant. There are real versions, or not real, there are other variants is somewhere. There's a variant of them in Earth, there's a variant of them in another planet, in another multiverse, whatever. But everyone is a variant, like Loki was told that everyone was created there, but that's actually not true. At least that's what the show told us in this episode. We don't know for sure. The third thing that happened here that I didn't like, that I did not really like this thing, is that there's a planet that's coming towards us, right? And it's about to crush everybody in Oblivion, right? But no one is really bothered about it. Everybody is kind of chill. All the guards, even this old woman that we see, who blows Loki, you will see in the episode. They are all pretty chill. Like you should be going crazy, you should be in a frenzy, right? I mean, I get it that the moon, the Lamentis is already pretty destroyed, right? I don't think many people lives there. I think there's a social hierarchy going on. Everything, I get it, but there's no urgency, until the end. Even at the end, people just kind of freeze and looks up, and this debris fall, and then they go in a frenzy again. But until then, there's no frenzy. Why are they not going crazy? How are they so calm? Like, we see some people who are trying to get on this train and they are kind of restless because there's a social hierarchy, right? The rich people are getting on that train. Train. Okay, the rich people are getting on the train, and I guess the poor people, the workers, the miners are kind of getting left behind, so they are obviously protesting. But Loki and Sylvia gets on the train easily using magic. It's pretty simple. But yeah, I just did not like that fact that there's no urgency in, like, this planet is crashing, like, you need to take off right now. Like, what are you waiting for, Like, they took, like, Loki and Sylvia takes a long time to reach this arc, and the arc is still there. Like, why is it still there? Like, the planet is like in their face, right, at this point, and we should see more things happen as this planet approaches, because the planet is very close. It's like very, very close. It's almost on like touching distance, right? At least it looks like that. So we should see gravitational pools, we should see just volcanoes, whatever. If there is water, we should see massive tsunamis happen. We should see catastrophic events that's taking place. But nothing is taking place except for the debris that are falling down. Everything is fine. And the debris that are falling down is conveniently missing Loki and Sylvia throughout the show, throughout this episode. Every debris missed Loki and Sylvia. They could have easily been blown out with just one debris. It's one of those action movies where there's a lot of bullets, but none of them are hitting the protagonist. Like, again, it's one of those cliches. I told you that there's a lot of cliches in this episode, so that's one of those cliches. Yeah, that's kind of what I felt about it. I still enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, but I did not enjoy it as much as the other ones, and I think they're trying to get from A to B very, very fast. Like, all the obstacles that are between them does not matter. Like, they will get around it just like that. It doesn't matter. In Mandalorian, the obstacles are very hard to get around. Each episode is based on trying to get over that obstacle and get on to the next mission, and progress further. But here it's like very easy. Like, it's like the Marvel writers already have a final episode in their mind and they want to just get there as soon as possible. So that's why I have mixed feelings about this episode. I enjoyed it, but I didn't think that it's as good as the other episodes. I enjoyed those a lot more. But Tom Hiddleston's performance is still great. Sylvia, I think I forgot what her name is. I saw what her name was, a real name, but I forgot. But I saw her stunt double. There's a lot of scenes where it's not her who is fighting. It's a stunt double, obviously, but it's like blatantly obvious. Like, especially if you go frame by frame, I think in one of those frames you will catch the face of the stunt double. Not absolutely, like point blank, but you will see the face of the stunt double and not of the actual actress. So that's one thing. I mean, my eyes notice these things. I could see the stunt double when it's not her, and most of the time it's a stunt double fighting. Especially there's some moves in the wall. There's some things that are going on. Some stunts that are going on, and it's not her. Like, I can see it's not her. That's the problem. I can see. Yeah, I mean, I think I have summarized everything. That's about it, really. Tell me if you enjoyed the show. Tell me how you felt about the episode. And if you enjoyed this review, please like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the good things. And yeah, I'll be back next week, probably with another episode. And if I get to watch anything else, I'll review that as well. So until then, take care and peace.